So, if you've been looking through Steam the past 3 days or so, you might have seen a game called FPS Chess. Despite its simple concept, it has not failed to keep mine and many others' attention, with at its peak reaching 20,000 concurrent viewers on Twitch and 1,000 active players on the 18th. That's only 2 days after launch. It does have its fair share of problems and glitches though, from crashing constantly and being able to skip kill cam to get ahead of your opponent, as well as balance issues. Today, I wanted to talk about the issues and give my thoughts on the game, and I encourage you to feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, so let's get right into it. Number 1 is for sure the queen throw. In the current state of the game, players are able to pick up a chess piece immediately when the game starts and throw it at the enemy piece, killing it instantly. This is broken for many reasons, seeing as it's incredibly frustrating dying almost instantly when you are able to move. My suggestion is to rework the queen throw and make it so it does almost all of the pieces' health, and or only one taps lower class pieces such as pawn. This would make it so that queen rushing would be less viable, resulting in longer and more enjoyable games. Another nerf I would bring to queen is to cut the fly's duration by a few seconds and increase the cooldown. As with right now, the cooldown, if you are playing queen, you can be mid-air for almost the entire match, which is pretty game-breaking. Bouncing off of the queen's issues, let's move on to the piece that is most frequently on the field, pawn. Pawn is insanely good, so good that he's considered a hard counter to queen. Makes sense that your cannon fodder pieces in chess are similar if not better than the queen, right? In the current game, the strategy to beat queen is to push your E, which summons 3 fast-firing pawns, and jump off the board, keeping distance with the queen as you place your headshots. You would be surprised how fast it drains health, which is why I recommend removing the clone ability entirely. Because of how many pawns you have on the field, it would give players less of an incentive to pawn rush pieces if the clone ability didn't exist, as it would be much harder to take on opponents. Number 3 would be the current state of the king. In my opinion, he is one of the worst pieces at the moment because of how weak he feels having such a large hitbox. One of the king's hard counters at the moment is rook, as he can one-tap any piece if hit in the head. See the problem? With how large the king's hitbox is, it is super easy to win the game immediately if you rook rush king. The way I would fix this is by buffing the health, making it so that he would have to take 2 or 3 headshots, but was significantly slower and harder to hit. This would make him a bit harder to defeat, and the current abilities, if players aren't careful, they can be caught off guard. This imbalance relates to one of my most favorite pieces at the moment, Knight. Knight, at the end of the day, is broken. To put it in a nutshell, he has a tracking error that unless you are blind, it is like a 100% guarantee hit. At full charge, this is almost one-shots enemies, and has a very low cooldown. Lower the area that it locks on the players, making it harder to hit, but rewarding if you do. Other than that, I'm a big fan of Knight's kit. It's very fun to play, and it's easy to grasp, and it rewards you hitting your shots. One of the most annoying bugs right now is the bug with Bishop. If you use his fly as Elytra to fly, at some points, it will just stop you from being able to move at all. It is incredibly annoying mid-fight, you're about to kill your enemy, you're so close to getting that win, and then you're not able to move. It is so defeating. So I feel like that should be one of the first priorities in bug fixes, is to fix Bishop's kit. Now, if you look at the reviews of the game, one of the most common things you will see is people complaining about the GPU usage. Even going out to say that it's a Bitcoin miner. The reason why it uses so much of your GPU is not because it's mining Bitcoin or not because it's running something behind your computer. What it really is because of poor optimization. With these kind of games, especially DigiPen, which is a game publishing studio in a college based in Washington State, is that they are poorly optimized. Optimizing this game to make it runnable on any computer should be one of the most important issues that should be tackled in the coming bug fixes and updates, as well as trying to fix crash errors. Another really annoying issue is the amount of times you get kicked out of the game. This can either be from skipping kill cam, which can cause problems with the game, or it can just happen randomly and it will completely shut off your game. You cannot reconnect, the game is over. It's really annoying when you're having a good match, a really close one with an opponent, and then both of your games crash. Another issue that I haven't been seeing a lot of people point out is the graphical issues. If you have your graphics on a lower setting, your enemies actually stick out more, which is incredibly game-breaking because you are put at a disadvantage just for having lower graphics than someone else. With how competitive a game this is, this should be an issue that needs to be fixed immediately, because it alters how the game is played and also makes its competitive experience a lot worse. A temporary fix for this problem is to just cut out all graphical options entirely. Put the game on the lowest settings until it can be figured out why this is happening, and then a fix can be released. With a game like chess, graphic settings aren't going to really matter. If you had a AAA game or something like that where graphics really matter, then this would not be a solution, but because it's a, well, Blender model game, this is not that big of an issue. This issue is a lot harder to fix, but it's one that's very important, and it's the hit reg issues. I feel like when I'm fighting people, like 30% of my shots will not register, which is incredibly annoying at times. And this is one of those issues where you can't just say, oh, dev team, fix this, and they will come out with a fix, because it's very difficult, right? It can be down to multiple things. It can be down to desync. It can be down to, oh, someone's PC is better than the other person's and it doesn't line up well. It can be connection issues. Over time, this will be improved if the dev team sticks with this game, and I really hope they do. And for the final issue I wanted to bring up is the long load times. Right now, if you're going into a public match, it can sometimes take upwards of 5 minutes to 10 seconds. And they should add an option where you can sort by your closest servers. Like, let's say I'm based in Texas. I would have an option to only sort by Texas servers. That would make it so that players can get into matches quicker, and their connection experience can be a lot better instead of playing with someone who's halfway across the country. But the last thing I want to talk about, it's really just, I feel like there should be more options for tournaments. A big part of chess is tournaments with your friends and tournaments with other people. If they had an option where you can have like a line of games, like, okay, so you could bring a bunch of friends into a lobby and have these two friends face off each other, and the winner goes to face these two and these two, and it would have a winner at the top. That would make it so that this game can have a competitive feel, because I feel like it has that potential. I feel like this game, if given enough attention, it can get really, really, really big, as it's super entertaining and it's really fun to play. These were just some of the thoughts I had on the game, some suggestions and overall things that I feel should be fixed. If you agree with me, please feel free to leave it in the comments. If you have your own suggestion, I encourage you to leave it down in your comments, because realistically, nothing's going to get changed unless we put out our thoughts and our opinions on the game. I plan to stream this game almost every day or every other day. I'm not sure what schedule I'm putting out. Feel free to stop by and say hi on twitch.tv/momo_ria. We have lots of fun, it's just a nice community. I plan on setting up Discord soon, so feel free to, stalk my channel and look for that. Other than that, I'll catch you guys later. See ya.